Good morning. Another lovely day at the lake. Gonna tackle a couple more projects today. Wish me luck. This is my boat ladder up to the deck, and it has always been pretty precarious. Angie and Fred are gonna tackle this situation, and I'm going to attempt once more to get the inline propane water heater going. I was going through the storage area where the propane tanks are and found these little gems. So evidently my boat did come with mirrors. I just didn't know about it and they weren't attached. So we'll figure out the mirror situation, but that may not be today. Yesterday I was able to get the adapter parts that I needed. So that one for the propane line. And then at the swap shop, I found this other shower attachment that can go to the water line, but then I also have this other auxiliary connector on it, which is great. So I could attach a garden hose using yet another adapter, or I can use the shower head. It's brand new. It was great for $1. Good deal. So I can use either one, and eventually I'm going to find a way to rig them so I can use them both at once if I really wanted to. So I'm going to get this puppy fired up here in just a little bit. But first I need to attach this gas line. I put some propane line tape on there. They told me not to use regular Teflon tape, so I listened. I'd rather not be breathing in any noxious fumes. When you do this, remember that propane tanks are reverse threaded, so lefty-loosey, righty-tighty does not apply. And if you forget, like I did, you will spend an inordinate amount of time twisting things the wrong way and wondering why they're not going on. Also, make sure you put your Teflon tape, or in this case, propane line tape, in the correct direction so that when you're twisting whichever way, the tape is going in a manner that's conducive to your twisting, so that as you're twisting the pipe in, it doesn't twist your tape off. Just some handy dandy little hints there. Here's the current setup from the front. And then from the back, I wanted to hook it outside first for numerous reasons, but I decided to put it in the cabinet where the propane tanks are kept because that allowed for clearance for the pipes. And then I just used 2 pieces of scrap lumber to hold up the tank. And then here's the propane tank, and it is connected there. And then here we have the shower nozzle and the submersible pump for when it's hooked up outside and to test it today. And then here we have the hose because I really wanted to try out the multi-attachment feature. So, moment of truth is upon us. Here we go. In this bucket we have mixed up some dish soap and some water because safety says that you should test your connection with dish soap and water. So that's what we are doing. I got my hair in my mouth. Stupid hair. Okay, so we're going to put some dish soapy water everywhere there's a connection, even the one that came pre-bought like that, and see if there are any bubbles, because that means the gas is escaping. Alright, now I'm going to turn this on. Let's see if any gas is escaping. I see no bubbles, other than the ones I put on there. Like I'm putting bubbles on there, but they're not popping, they're not doing nothing. We okay? It appears that we are okay. So now I'm going to hit the switch right here and turn this on. Alright, that is on. And then, actually I'm going to turn that back off because I don't have my pump going yet. So no water is going in there. That was dumb. And then I'm going to turn on my generator. It'll be super quiet though because it's more of a power pack than a generator. You might want to check this out. Okay, this is my battery pack. Well, kind of a battery pack, kind of a generator. I don't really know what to call it. But anyway, I can charge it by plugging it into the wall. It can be charged in a car or it can be charged by solar panels. So I'm gonna, and it's super quiet, which is awesome. So I'm gonna plug this in, the pump in to that. And I'm not supposed to run this dry, so I better get going on that.
You're gonna get out there and hold it.
It's in. Is that in deep enough? I think it's in deep enough. It's got water going to it. That is what she said. We're going to leave that in the video. Alright, so now this is supposed to be on. And I'm going to put it on, crank it. I'm going to crank it. And we're going to see what happens. I don't feel like it. Oh, well, thank you. So we tried this and I didn't get a video of it, but you're not missing anything because it doesn't work. But this could be why. The battery box is empty. I'll bet putting some batteries in there will make a difference. Also, there's a switch over here that I was unaware of, and turning that on will probably make a difference too. So I'm going to run in the little store, grab some batteries, and be right back. Everything is all hooked up again to the generator and to the propane tank. And I just flipped the switch underneath here and it fired up. While I was working on some other projects, Fred and Angie were working on stabilizing my ladder. I thought I was going to have to replace the whole thing. Wasn't really looking forward to that, but turns out what it needed was just some L brackets underneath some of the rungs, because this is what happened to a couple of them. But I can wiggle them all I want and the whole ladder will wiggle now because those brackets are doing a good job. So there's another set, and then up on top, let's climb up here, see what the situation is. So up on top, some more L brackets were used to keep these ends in place so it does not wiggle. What it will do though is leak. So now I'm going to take some Flex Seal and I'm going to put that around the ends so there will not be any leakage into my boat's interior. So that's what I'm going to do now. In order to maximize adhesion, it's important to get all the gunk off there that you can on all the loose particles. So I'm using a wire brush to get those off and away, so when I put the Flex Seal on, it will stick better. I'm going to clean this off and do the same thing over here. Clean that off, and then we're ready to Flex Seal it. When I got this boat originally, I decided to try to make sure that the roof was actually waterproof, and so I got a couple gallons of Flex Seal and covered this whole thing with it, and it's done an amazing job. So now I'm going to use it to put around these brackets so that they don't leak either. And if you notice, I don't have a glove on. I have a baggie on my hand because I thought I had gloves and I can't find them. So I'm going to improvise, which is kind of the story of my life. So here we go with the baggy glove. Let's start a new fad, you never know. So I'm going to smear this on here and see how it goes. So the baggy glove was not my proudest improv moment, but the job got done. So it doesn't look gorgeous, but there should be no leaks whatsoever in there. I used about the entire container of this Flex Seal stuff on just these two posts, but whatever, as long as it doesn't leak, we'll be good. Doesn't have to be pretty, just gotta work. So I remembered where my gloves were, and I'm gonna try smoothing this out. I'm gonna try this little trick because oil can be used to remove Flex Seal, vegetable oil or olive oil or whatever. So I'm going to try spraying some olive oil on it just to smooth it over a little bit and make it not as lumpy bumpy. And it appears to be working. It's not sticking to the gloves like it was, and I'm able to smooth it down a little bit. Dang, wish I'd thought of that earlier. Sometimes I just need a minute for my brain to kick in a little bit better. But anyway, this is working magnificently, so I highly recommend. It's not making the Flex Seal break down. I just put a little bit on it, just making it not be so sticky, so I can get it where I want it better without it sticking to my glove and other places I don't want it sticking. So yay, there's a helpful hint for you. I'm going to attempt to attach this 50-gallon gas tank that's on board, is built into the boat. I'm going to attach it using these supplies. So I have a fuel line connector, I have a fuel filter, and that's because although I'm fairly certain from looking inside the tank that there isn't any gunk, putting that on there just in case there ever gets to be any gunk, keep it out of my motor. Then I got some brand new fuel line, and I got some hose clamps, and got my drill just so I can torque down those hose clamps pretty well. Gonna put my flathead driver bit on there, and then that should get all this connected so that I don't have to use this makeshift little generator tank that only holds about, well, it says 3.7 gallons. I'm not sure it actually holds 3.7 gallons, but anyway, I should have a lot greater range that I can go on this boat. Not that I want to, but it's nice to have options. So I'm going to hook up this bigger tank. The first thing I'm going to do to attach the bigger gas tank to the motor is to attach this here fuel connector to the fuel line. So I'm going to put my hose clamp on, and then I'm going to slide the fuel connector into the fuel line. I'm going to get it on there as far as I can. That was a rather tight pinch, but if Santa can do it, then so can the Grinch. So in this case, I'm the Grinch. I got on there. It took some doing, but it's on there. And all the way flush with the fuel connector. So now I'm going to loosen up this band clamp because it won't slide over there so great. So I'm going to loosen it up a little bit. Then I'm going to slide it in there. And then I'm going to switch my drill so it's going in the correct direction. Make sure it is exactly where I want it. Tighten her up. The next thing I'm going to do is install this fuel filter. So I needed to cut a small section of tubing, and then I'm going to put a band clamp over the tubing, slide it on there, and then I'm going to slide that on the in section or the inside of the fuel filter. It's important that you put these on in the correct position so that you have the fuel going in where it says in and coming out the other end. So this end is going to attach to the large gas tank, and this end is going to attach to some tubing that goes the rest of the way to the motor, to the bulb, the squeeze bulb, and then the motor. So I'm going to slide this on here, and slide the band clamp up into position, and then tighten the band clamp. I got that all firmly attached, and now I'm going to attach this end to the 50-gallon gas tank. So I'm going to slide this band clamp on there. I just loosened it up, slide that on there, and now we're going to put this end on the end of the gas tank tube and tighten her up. Here we go, sliding that on there. Get it all the way flush with this. Alrighty, there we go. So now I get the band clamp in position where I want it. Hold it there. The next thing I'm going to do is attach this end of the fuel line to the fuel filter. And in order to do that, I need to put the band clamp over the fuel line first, and then put the fuel line over that end of the fuel filter, slide the band clamp into its proper position, and tighten the band clamp. Here is our gas tank, the 50-gallon onboard gas tank, rigged up pretty much correctly. So I have the line going from the gas tank into the fuel filter, from the fuel filter into the connector that attaches to the motor. Okay, the only thing I am missing is the squeeze bulb in between, and that's because I didn't think of that until now. But they will sell me one, and I will attach it in between this fuel connector and the fuel filter, and then we will be able to try this out. Well, that's about all we're doing for today. So we got a few things done, and we ran into a few snags, and we solved a few problems, and now we have more projects to do. But that's pretty typical. I'm going to go home, and I will catch you next time. Bye.